All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. This is going to be a lesson on how you women better start being humble now, man. Right? Because I was just thinking about this, man. I was just thinking about how women and children being around men in general, for the most part in life, in the first place, man, is more of a burden than anything else. Now, the scriptures do say that children are a legacy, right? But if a man has got all the wealth that he needs necessary, all the things that he needs to sustain himself in this world, right? Women are an afterthought for those kind of men in this world, right? Men can have any of these women that they want, that have got money and all of these things that are successful in this world, right? A woman's not a hard thing to come by, right? But when a man adds a woman onto himself in this world, as you can see with all this divorce court and all of these things and all of these ways how these women can extract men's money when they get pregnant and stuff like that, it shows you that a woman is a burden in this world to a man. And if I can find a particular scripture that I'm looking for, where it says a woman shall compass a man, right? Children are, as for my people, children are their oppressors, right? As for my people, man, as for my children oppressors. Let me see if I search. What happens if I search that, man? Children oppressors. Here we go. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. And women and children are a snare unto men in this world, man. So all you women out there and all you children, man, even you young adult men that are like 15, 13, right, 16, 17, you better start being humble too. Because some of you younger guys walk around as if you're juggernauts out here, and you are men, but you're young men, and you ain't got what it takes right now to compete with the men that have been tried and tested in a carnal sense, man. You run around with weapons and all of that stuff in this time now, but you don't know that there's people out there that can use those weapons that you use against other little kids and younger people of like yourselves. There's people that can use them things for real, man. That when it goes down, we're gonna see. All you people are gonna have a chance to test your skills, man, against people that have been waiting for that for real. And it's a lot more difficult to be a bully and all of these things when everyone is on that same mindset, man. It's easy for criminals to run around and do all of this stuff now because people are trying to pay off mortgages, or because people have got work in the morning, right? Or because people are trying to be an upstanding citizen. But when everyone is acting grimy and dirty, then that's when it turns more difficult, man. That's when a lot of guys that think that they're tough guys and they think that they're gangsters and all of this stuff, they're gonna find out that they're not as bad as they thought they were, man. They're gonna find out that they didn't train as hard as they think they did, man. They're gonna find it out the hard way. But back on women, right? These women are gonna find out, man, that they're not they're not as valuable as they thought they were, man. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 25, thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war, and her gate shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground. Whereas women have tried to make out as though men have been the problem in their lives, right? But men have been the enablers of everything that they stand for. None of these rights that women have and all these things that they talk about are they defending them for themselves. They've always needed men to defend them. And for the last couple of days, on and off, I've been watching a show about the military, right? And it's been showing the women in the training and stuff like that, and they're not good. Like the women couldn't even climb over a wall that was about maybe 5 foot 5 inches. She couldn't climb it, man. And the other women there couldn't really climb that. They couldn't climb not even a 6 foot wall. They couldn't climb a five. It was about 5 foot 5. The wall, she couldn't climb it, man. It was terrible. right? A woman's gonna be a burden to a man in that time, man. A man might be walking around and he'll be like, okay, I know I can defend myself in most physical situations that are gonna occur. And then if I can't physically overcome them, I know I can run away. So I'll be able to escape. But then he might have women and children around him, right? And the women can't outrun or can't fight. And the children, if even if they're sons, they might be too young to be able to defend themselves properly at that age, right? At such a young age. So women are going to be a burden onto a man in that time. So therefore, the only way how a woman's going to be protected in that time is if she's not running that upper lip and making a bottom lip match, running that mouth. That's the only way that a man's even going to feel the need to help that woman. If in the time now she's been showing humility and not getting on his damn nerves, because there's some women out there that men have been like, you know what? All right, I'll deal with her for now. But when all hell breaks loose, if all hell breaks loose, this bitch is on her own, and I ain't helping it, man. Helping her, man. There's some people out there that have got that thought process, man. And I remember when one particular story, man, that I was in London, and I missed the last train to come back to go back to the city that I was from. So I had to stay. I had to stay in London for like the next like I had to just stay in London all over the night, just in the streets and whatever. There was nowhere for me to go. I had to just stay in London for like the next 7 or 8 hours, man. Right? And I was at one of the train stations, and one Jake. This isn't not a story that necessarily needs to be told, all these stuff, but Jake sat next to me and was just talking to me on the while I was waiting at the train station, because I just stayed there before it closed, and it closed like around 12 or something like that. And he was just telling me some of his life story, man. And he pointed over to his wife, and she didn't know what the hell he was talking about, but he pointed out and said, "You see that woman over there? She's a damn bitch, and she doesn't know that I know that she's been committing adultery on me with a police officer or whatever. But I've got a lot of money, so I'm setting things up so that she can't rob me from my money. But the moment I get the chance to screw her over, I'm gonna take that." That's what he said to me. He didn't know me from nowhere, but he told me this, right? Just randomly. And the reason why I'm saying all that of that story is to say this: that there's men out there that have got vendettas against even their own woman that lives in their house with them, man, that they've got children with, that they're angered by this woman's stinky ass attitude, and they know that that woman did certain evil to them, but because this society oppresses men, which is what that verse in 3 and 12 said, they deal with it now and they take it now. But when all hell breaks loose and these men's actually their own life is on the line, and they don't, the house thing's gone, the care of a house has gone, the care of paying off a mortgage, the care of going to work is gone, and the only thing that matters is a man's own life. They ain't gonna be feeling the need to, oh, I'm gonna defend this woman. They're not gonna care. A woman's gonna be a burden onto a man in that time. Crying, getting tired, complaining that she's hungry, you know, having to deal with her menstrual cycles and all of these weird women's emotions and all that. Men ain't are gonna be bothered by that kind of stuff, man. Women crying and screaming at every single sound, making up bare noise, screaming when a loud sound goes off. You're attracting people's attention to the situation now, and only a woman that man really cares about will be protected in that time, man. But that's what these women don't understand. They don't get it, man. They don't understand that really they're a burden more than anything else, man. They're really a burden, man. Now, that's not saying that men of the elect are gonna just abandon their family in that time, because I don't believe that they'd do that. But women are a burden, man. Right? There's a lot of women that are a burden, and when all hell breaks loose, it's gonna be shown which type of women. In fact, let me get the scripture, man. It's gonna be shown which type of women are burdens in that time, because they're gonna be trodden down as the mire of the streets, man. Micah chapter 7 and verse 10. Then she that is mine enemy shall see, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is Yahweh thy power? Mine eyes shall behold her. Now she shall be trodden down as the mire of the streets. So all these women that didn't believe that things in the scriptures were going to happen, when all hell breaks loose, well, you can still believe that nothing's going to happen then. You can see how if twerking's gonna help you. You can see how, you thinking that you're pretty is gonna help you. No woman, right? I'm gonna say this straight up, man. No woman in this whole world is as attractive as she thinks she is. Because most women, when they're out there, what they consider them being attractive is when they've got makeup on. And what I've started to notice is that women think that what they look like is what they look like with makeup on. When what they actually look like is what they look like when they wake up in the morning, right? Now, that's not saying that I don't think that women should put on makeup on. I don't really care. But the arrogance that they have when they put on that makeup is the reason why Yahweh's going to drag all that stuff away from these Israelite women, man. Right? Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 16, moreover, Yahweh saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. Therefore Yahweh will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and Yahweh will discover their secret parts. And that's going into how the so-called black woman cannot grow hair, man. And people can say that that ain't the truth, but mate, who can deny that so-called black women struggle with growing long hair, man? Now, if you can find 5 to 10% of so-called black women that have got long hair, big deal. The majority struggle with that. The majority struggle with that, man. And the reason why that's on them is because they got cursed by the Lord. And they can try and deny all they want. But the facts are what the facts are, man. We can see that they struggle with growing hair. And if you don't believe me, in whatever area you live in, do a social experiment and just start examining the hair. Just start as you're walking through, see how many either don't have long hair or are wearing weave in their hair, man. And if you're an Israelite woman and this is bothering you, well, Yahweh did it to you, not me. Just like how Yahweh cursed us. We ain't as rich as we want to be. You know? We ain't as strong as we want to be. And why has that happened to us? We ain't respected as we want to be respected in this world. Because we're cursed. So if we have to accept our curse, what makes you think you don't have to accept yours? Verse 18, in that day Yahweh will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet and their cords and their round ties like the moon. And it carries on going into all the things that women use to beautify themselves, man. When all hell breaks loose, all the things that women use to beautify themselves are not going to be available. They ain't going to be having the time to spend an hour in the morning to put on makeup. They ain't going to have that ability, man. They ain't going to smell as nice as they can smell, right? They're not going to have the time to do have a good hygiene program going, and they're going to stink, man. It's good. I ain't trying to be gross, but it's going to get to where a man might be able to smell a woman before he sees her, right? And that's when you know that you stink, when someone can smell you first before they see you, right? But that's how it's going to get, man. Verse 24, and it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink, and instead of a girdle, a rent, and instead of well-set hair, boldness, and a stomacher instead of girding of sackcloth, and burning instead of beauty. So all the women that think that we're ugly now and we ain't handsome and all of that stuff, okay, fair enough. But some of you women are going to be damn near looking like us in the apocalypse when it's going down. You ain't going to have time to be running around putting a bonnet on or putting a weave on. You ain't going to have time to sit down and get hair sewn into something, into a structure that you put on your head. That's not going to be able to take place, man. All the men that are tough guys, they ain't going to have time to put their 2 scoops of whey in their shaker bottle and shake it around. They ain't going to have time for that. They ain't going to have time to make sure that they're getting 8 hours of sleep and that they're taking all their 12 mixed vitamin supplements. Nah. All the guys that are big and they can deadlift 600 pounds for 1 rep, mate, you're going to need some endurance for what's coming. Because that one deadlift ain't going to mean nothing when someone's running you down with a baseball bat. Making sure that they fight you as unfairly as possible because of how big you are. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of tough guys, a lot of big guys, they think they're going to have what it takes too. They ain't going to have what it takes neither, man. Okay, you're big and you can deadlift 700 pounds for 1 rep. Okay. And after you put that weight down, you normally need a whole day's rest after that. But that ain't gonna benefit you when people are running you down with weapons. That's not gonna benefit you, man. There's no lane other than faith that is gonna be able to overcome what's gonna happen, man. But this particular video is on the women. Women are gonna become a burden to men, and the proof that men are not gonna become a burden to women in that time is this scripture here, Isaiah chapter 4 and verse 1. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. So if it was that women are as great as they think they are, then surely the men, it would say, in that day, 7 men shall take hold of one woman, saying, baby, we'll take care of all your bills. You know, I'll take care of all of those bills, babes. Surely it would say that, right? I won't never ask you your body count, babes. And I'll make sure I'll never take you to the chocolate factory, babes. We can go Salt Bays, you know what I mean? We can go Shard. No, I'd never take you to the dodgy part of Birmingham to Dixie Chicken. Nah, we can go Brindley Place, man, right by the canal, where they got the nice restaurants by the Brindley Place in Birmingham. Oh, nah, we can go Westfield, man, to the nice place. You know, we can go Piccadilly Circus. Or I'll fly you out to Miami. That's what it would be saying, but it ain't saying that. It's saying, and in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying we will eat our own bread, meaning I don't care how much you make. And we're our own power, meaning you ain't got to buy me no Birkin bag. Only let us be called by thy name. I want to be connected to you. I want you to claim me, to take away our reproach, right? The women are going to want to have your last name. They're going to want you to claim them. Now, even if, let's say we ain't those men. Let's say I'm not one of those people. Okay, fair enough, right? But they're good. It's going to be women that are going for men, seeking for men to help them. That's what the prophecy says. You don't say that the men are going to be seeking for women. So women are going to get humbled, man, and they're going to find out that they're a burden. In that time, they're going to be a burden, man. Just I occasionally watch some of these street fights and stuff like that take place in club brawls, nightclub brawls, and all of these kind of videos, man. And I find it very fascinating what always happens in these kind of scenarios, man. And what you always see is women screaming. You always see or hear women screaming every time these kind of things happen, because they're screaming because they're hoping that the peaceful times where they can benefit come back, right? That's what they always do, man. Because in a time like that where violence is the thing that rules, women are not comfortable in that atmosphere, man. Whereas that's the atmosphere that make men rise up. That's the atmosphere that makes men rise up, man. And the proof in that is that women are now complaining about a military draft. They're complaining about having to get drafted in the military potentially, but they was running their mouth though, talking about how they're equal to men. So now they're gonna get the chance to prove it. They're gonna be on a battlefield, 5'5", 5'7", 5'6", going against men 6'5", can damn near run 100 meters in 10 seconds or lower, or just a little bit over. Can do a 48-inch tuck jump, 48-inch vertical jump, bench pressing 225, 100 kilograms. For those that don't know the 225-pound thing, 200 kilograms, 225 pounds for 40 reps. Can pull up 20 times, can deadlift 500 pounds for 10 reps. All time, 500 pounds is like 220 kilograms, 225 kilograms for 10 reps. They're going to be going up against men that are about that life, man, on a battlefield, man. And then they're going to know within the first 10 minutes, man, we're not about that life when it comes to that kind of stuff. And then in the cities, they're going to be finding out that they ain't about that life neither. They're going to be finding out that women are not tough, man. And that women are a burden. Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 12, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir, not a woman, even a man, right? A man's going to be more precious than fine gold in that time. because there's going to be certain men that are going to have a protective shell around them, man. That damage is just not hitting them like how it's hitting everybody else. That for some reason they are just able to handle this. Now, in the carnal sense, that's going to be those people that are considered post-apocalyptic warlords. For an example, and that I'm talking like people. If you've watched Game of Thrones, people like Negan, you know, people like Rick Grimes, people like the Governor, you know, people like that are about that kind of lifestyle, man. They thrive in that kind of environment. But in the spiritual sense, it's going to be men of the elect. That they understood that stuff like this was going to happen and they've been waiting for it. And that Yahweh's guiding them so where they don't need to be the strongest man. They don't need to be the wisest man. They don't need to be the richest man. Because they've got the Spirit guiding them. Right? Man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? Right? Women are going to be a burden in that time, man. Women are a burden in a crisis. Right? Women are not a addition to helping in that time. And that's why whenever something goes down, people are always talking about save the men, women, and children. If there was really not a burden in times like that, they'd be able to save themselves, right? They'd be able to save themselves, man. People wouldn't be crying about how women are being harmed in war, how children are being harmed in war, if children are not a burden to times like that, right? They wouldn't be complaining about that. They'd be complaining about men. If men are really so low as the world's trying to make them feel they are, they'd be complaining about save the men. There's a war going on, save the men. But the burden is the thing that gets saved, right? Now, women and children are necessary because you need women to produce children and you need children to have a continual society that flows. But the weaker should give reverence to the strong because they need the strong to survive. And that's going to be shown when Yahweh frees this world up so that everybody can fight in the realms of their own power, right? If you've got the power in your hand, then let it be like that. Second Ezra chapter 15 and verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So all the women that are thinking about feminism is going to rule the world, right? Women's rights, women are stronger than men. Men ain't this. Men are dusty. Men are crusty, right? 20 places I don't want men to take me out on dates, right? Men need to make this amount of money to even come and chat to me, right? Well, if the course of your actions, if you've got the power to make that happen, then the course of your actions is going to stand in your power. So you're going to be able to get men in line in that time and make men pay all your bills, not ever ask you your body count, never come and chat to you, want to only be with you his whole life. And if you decide that you want to sleep with him once a year, he's going to accept that because he cares about you so much. You're going to be able to get us men in line and make us bow down to your will, if that's what it is, right? If you've got the power and you're about that, that's what's going to happen, right? But if you haven't got the ability, then you're going to get in line with whoever the men that are going to win in that time are going to be. And the men who are going to win in that time are going to be the elect of the nation of Israel. Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with a sword, and spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation. So in that time, all you women that are running your mouths, you're going to wish that you had some cheesecake factory to eat. You're going to wish that you had some Nando's. You're going to wish that you had some Dixie chicken. You're going to wish that you had some Pizza Hut. You're going to wish that you had some Asda bread, Sainsbury's loaves, right? Morrison's pasta, spaghetti. You're going to wish you had tin spaghetti hoops, man. You ain't going to be getting picky about where you was eating. Oh, this is a chain restaurant. All you burdenless women, man, in that time, you're going to be wishing that you're going to be trying to come with that fake humble. And I can picture it in my mind, man. I can picture it in my mind. They're going to be coming with this fake humble. And it's not gonna work, man. That's gonna be seen right through. Because the man's gonna know, hang on, she's just trying to say this because she sees that I've got one apple in my backpack and 2 tins of beans, but she don't know that they're beans. It's just the tins, and I've had the labels removed. But she knows that I've got some tins, and she sees this bottle of water in my rucksack, and she looks drag out here. She looks red out, and her lips are crusty and dry, and her hair is picky and that. But she's trying to just fake humble to me because she sees that I've got a bit more rations in my backpack than her, and she ain't got nothing. Her jeans are ripped, not for style, because she's been dragged through the streets or whatever. I don't know hell what's happened to her. And she's trying to fake humble to me because she wants some of my rations. Nah, I'm out of here. Don't follow me. And then he runs off in the distance, man, and she's just crying. These are the kind of things that's gonna be happening, man. Men are gonna have seen through all the BS, man, and they're gonna know that if the world was nice, right, you wouldn't be coming to him, trying to talk to him in all kind of way, trying to be humble. When the world was nice and social media was running things, you would have been on social media, on Tinder, swiping, denying everyone, and just be trying to go to men that have got big boy cars and it. So what are you doing in front of my face? In the world, I only worked in McDonald's. What are you in my face for now? Get out of my face. Go find that guy that you was trying to find on Tinder. Go find him. Don't come to me. That's what it's gonna be. Oh, I only worked. I worked on an assembly line. What are you doing in my face? You didn't want me back then. So get out of my face now. This is how men are gonna think, man. They're gonna be arrogant as you men have been now. They're gonna be as arrogant and that and worse. And you women are gonna know that you're a burden for that time, man. Because a man's risking his life by having a woman walking around with him. Whereas if a man fellowships with another man and joins onto a group with other men, that's adding strength to the group. But one man walking around with 2 women, that's a weakened group. Whereas 3 men walking around together to survive that time is a strengthened group. Whereas if a one woman sees 2 men and they join onto a group and form a group, she's more been strengthened now. But if she joins on with 2 more women, okay, it's more strength. But if them 3 women end up seeing one man and that man's against them, they're weak still. Because they'll struggle individually to overcome that man, and they'll struggle as a group in a lot of cases, man. Whereas 3 men, majority of the times, are always going to be able to overcome one man that's against them. I'm going to end the video there, man, because a lot of women don't think long term, man, about things like this, but they're going to see it, man. They're going to see how they are a burden for this time. Whereas they look at men like we're a burden in this time now, men in that time are going to look at them like they're a burden, because they will be. Right? And I'm going to end the video there, man. Shalom to the elect.